I did want to bring up like the whole idea of these kind of weekly shows versus the binge. I know you're a fan of the binge.
Yeah.
Like you'll wait. I still don't know why you wait. You know, it's like almost like, you know, I don't want to be a part of the zeitgeist. I
It's
don't
not
know
that
what
I
it is
don't.
with the
It's not that I want to be part of the zeitgeist. It's that I'm just gonna sit here and be like, fuck, I'm gonna just theorize until the next episode comes, and I'm the
that's
kind
the
of
fun
person
part.
that theorizes to like the highest point, and then the show never hits it, and it sort of does bum me out. So I kind of like not being able to theorize as the story's being fed to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it helps me enjoy the shows a little more. There's some shows that aren't affected by it, so it doesn't really matter. Like I think like even like an Invincible, you sort of get like what the show is about. So that one I could watch weekly, but a show like this where they're trying to feed you a story, I have to wait. I cannot wait because if not, I'm just gonna theorize and then ruin the show for myself. I've guessed a couple shows and it's like, oh damn, I shouldn't have guessed it. It would have been so much cooler to figure it out.
Yeah. No, I mean, to me that's actually some of the fun of it all. I think here's the thing I think about is like when you, especially when you get a great episode, and I bring up like X-Men 97, the last recent episode, you probably heard rumblings online of like
Yeah,
the it's just it people talking about it. That to me is like, I like the week after an episode's released and you have everyone just kind of, oh, did you see that show? And it's just, you have, you know, like-minded fans, you know, coming together and just talking about it, and it becomes, you know, the thing that you're discussing, where it's going to go from here. Yeah, again, the theorizing portion of it. But to me, that's kind of like the fun part. And bottom line is, I almost feel like it loses. There's some episodes that you watch, and some of the, especially some really good shows, and when they're binge, like I think about like Stranger Things and some of those episodes that come out, like I feel like Stranger Things would be even better if you couldn't see it all at once. Just because you want to sit there, like some of the shit that happens, you just kind of want to sit there in that. And especially when you have some of the more shocking episodes that people don't expect, but were great episodes, like that I feel like loses some of its sting when it's just a bingeable thing. I think about like episodes like the Red Wedding. If that was something that came out all at once, and people were, oh man, did you see that episode? I forgot what it was, 3 or 4, whatever in that season. And you know, and I feel like it just wouldn't be that much, like it wouldn't hit the same. You know what I mean?
yeah. I I see.
That's just me.
I actually 100% see what you're saying with that. I honestly do. And I think the issue with this is not everybody has the same time to binge. So while you're excited, your homie might not have been able to see the show, so you don't really have anybody to talk to about it. And so then now you have this whole show you want to go through and nobody to talk about it because nobody's had time, or you haven't had time and your homies constantly wanting to be like, hey, did you watch it, did you watch it? I get it, I get the social aspect to it. I think I understand.
Yeah,
I
it's not even a
wish
social.
I,
To
I
me,
wish
it's more the impact of it. You know what I'm saying? Like the
yeah,
especially some key
also
episodes.
it lets you process it, and in a show like this it doesn't let you process it till the very end, and
Yeah,
by that time, you
yeah.
know, your emotions might be jumbled and stuff. But
It,
I don't. I think
it's kind.
certain stories lend themselves, and certain stories wouldn't lend themselves to
Yeah,
something like
yeah,
this.
yeah,
But I think for a game adaptation, specifically a game adaptation, if you're gonna have something lore heavy, it should be a show.
yeah. It's got to
Whether
be. It's got to
it
be.
be weekly or binged, it's got to be a show. Dude. We got to
Yeah,
stop making movies. Fucking Borderlands. Borderlands should have been a show, dude. Borderlands should have been a show.
yeah. I mean, we'll see when that comes out, but I'm not gonna put it like, I'm not gonna be surprised if it's just meh. You know what I'm saying? Uh,
Because it's a movie. It's gonna be meant because it's a movie. It might have some fun stuff, but it's not gonna be like this. I think
yeah, yeah,
this Fallout is gonna fucking destroy what Borderlands could have been.
yeah. Very
But
similar style games too, by the way. But
yeah,
yeah, you know, and just to, one last note, like I just think about, like, one of my biggest pet peeves when I'm watching anything is when you have these kind of dramatic scenes, and the director, like, it happens, and then you kind of sit there, and I like kind of sitting there in that shock. You know what I mean? Like where it's the shot of the person or whatever happens, just it stays there for a little bit,
Yeah.
and you're sitting there kind of like throwing you what just happened.
Yeah, the
And
processing
there's
part of it.
some the
Yeah.
processing part of it, but there's certain where they just it happens and then they just move on to the next scene like right away. And I
Yeah.
just every time that happens, it just it pisses me. I'm just like, let me feel that. You know what I
No,
mean?
yeah.
It just
For,
to me, it's like that kind of idea, but every week in a show. And so I mean, obviously, you prefer the binge. I prefer the weekly episodes. To me, they just I guess maybe it's a preference thing, but for me, that's my preference. But as far as this adaptation goes, obviously they set up a second season.